Oh!
Richfield stepped out of the line, and the 47 of Trevor Grafton crosses it on the apron, but he crosses first. He's our winner.
And right there will be your race winner, the 2 of Jameer Muhammad, bringing it to victory lane here tonight. It will officially be Sal Casey getting the win here tonight. He's just got to get across the line first, and there he is right there. Your winner here tonight is going to be the 40 of Sal Casey. We'll see right there. He will do it. Your race winner is going to be the 84 of Bryson Barker, led 28 laps. The most laps led here tonight. Bring it to the line right there. Your race winner will officially be the 2 of Jameer Muhammad, putting it into victory lane here tonight. Welcome, race fans, once again here to Virtual Racing Network. As you can see, we've got 4 minutes on the clock, so we're jumping right into things. Before we get to the racing stuff, we want to talk about the sponsors here for just a minute. Make sure you check out all of the following partners here for tonight's race. Those do include Global Building Contractors, iRacing Drivers World, Leo's Coney Island out of Rochester Hills, and of course Dan Butler Designs. And of course, here on the broadcast side of things, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the following partners. Those include Northwest Racing Series, Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm, Ohio IndyCar League, SimSpeedShop.com, and iPog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, your sim race broadcast graphics source. Again, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, and this league wouldn't be here without theirs, so make sure you check them out on their social media sites and give them a big shout out for what they do. That being said, before we get to the national anthem, as it is coming up very quickly, we want to go ahead and, of course, introduce our second chair here for tonight's race, and that is normally the 00 Chris White, but it's just the Chris White here tonight. So, Chris, welcome back to the booth once again.
Yeah, Charles, great to be back. Excited for this one here at Texas Motor Speedway. Looks like we got 130 laps are coming our way. We should see some exciting racing here.
Yes, definitely. We're going to see some great racing. And the track temp, only 75 degrees, air temp 74. One thing I did notice, one thing coming in here, as we don't have much time to talk about it, is the wind speed. It is 14 miles per hour right now out of the northeast. So that wind is blowing very strong. Now it drops to 13, and as it will change throughout the night. But that's pretty gusty for here on iRacing.
Yeah, I would expect those track temps to increase during the race as the tires build up some heat in the tracking and the racing surface. That wind could become a factor. It can cause these cars, the handling, to upset these cars a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how these drivers handle that.
Yeah, definitely be very interested to see how they do indeed handle it. We got 1:30 left on the clock, so we're going to jump right into the national anthem, and we will be right back here in just a few moments with qualifying coming up right after your national anthem.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying is officially underway, so we'll go ahead and bring your top 20 up in qualifying on the screen for you, as well as your driver bar, so you know who we're watching. Watching the 75 of Bill Edwards, as he is out on the track here at the moment. And there are a lot of drivers out there here tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see who wins. I know we talked to Mikey Neal earlier, and he is actually not at his main area for racing. He does have his computer and all that, but in a different spot, so he is not confident here that he will put on a good finish.
And as we kick off here, looks like we got Bill Edwards sitting up front right now with the 29.2. Mohammed there, 29.239, not too far back. Looks like we only got about 5 cars taking time so far.
Yeah, we do. Only 5 have so far. Dan Butler's going to come in currently 6th fastest with a 29.693, as he will now be bumped to a 7th, as Brandon Dorsett will go to 6th. No surprise to see Jamir Muhammad sitting in 2nd place. He's fast. Alex Huffman sitting in 3rd place. Another very fast driver that I expect to see up at the front here later in this race.
Yeah, we got a handful of drivers still needing to come out on the track here and take some times. One notably that I'm familiar with, Josh Coley, once again, who I run with in the Northwest Racing Xfinity Series. He's typically one of those guys that sometimes does not qualify and just likes to start from the rear. So it'd be interesting to see if he takes the time here.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if he does, and sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't here, so we'll definitely have to watch him. Mikey Neal is out on the track right now. Currently no time in, so we'll see. There he is. Someone who said he might not put a good finish in just took it to the pole with a 29.155.017, faster than Bryson Barker, who was currently your pole sitter until then. So we'll have to look forward to seeing how he does for someone who said he didn't expect to be putting on a good finish.
Yeah, well, he's so far taken that top spot here in qualifying. However, but that's just qualifying. We're going to wait and see what these race laps happens during the race. He may not be able to stick that first spot and stay up there. So maybe he's talking about that long run. Maybe he doesn't feel he has a car that can last that long run and hold these other guys off. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to just wait and see. And, while we're watching qualifying here, we keep saying it. We're going to keep saying it over and over again. We do apologize for the pixelation there. We know it used to look a lot better. We are working on that. We have some programs running in the background here to get a hold of that. Plus, we have them coming out to look at tomorrow, as we are getting a lot of noise in the line here. It looks like when we went live streaming. So we are going to be working on that to get it all straightened out here tomorrow, hopefully. But Sterling Smith out so far. We have 15 drivers that have taken times, and just over about 23, 24 drivers that'll be starting this race tonight. So I expect to see some really good racing. And as always, We'll see how the cautions go. We could have, you know, a few, or we could have very few. We never know what we're going to get when we come to a racetrack, but typically this league has few cautions.
Yeah, you never know. Different tracks can read different types of cautions. We just experienced almost a no caution race Monday night, which was nice. So, watching the 51 here, 51 just took time there, 30.1. So far, the slowest of those that have qualified. He's coming around for his lap 2 time here right about now, and we'll see if he improved.
And the 17th, it doesn't matter, time runs out anyway. So we'll go ahead and get rid of your driver bar and qualifying off your screen, as it's going to be, we'll get down there, we'll go ahead and I'll run through your starting grid real quickly here, as the drivers are starting to take to the track. As we'll get down there, your Wallsbeard Co. starting grid, row 1, is going to be the 8 of Mikey Neal against somebody who said he did not have a good shot at getting the win here. On his outside is going to be the 84 of Bryson Barker. Row 2 is going to be the 40 of Sal Casey and the 48 of Dustin Covington. Row 3 is going to be the 75 of Bill Edwards and the 2 of Jameer Muhammad. Row 4 is going to be the 83 of Alex Huffman and the 5 of Brandon Dorsett. Row 5 is going to be the 50 of Sterling Smith and the 99 of Justin Starr. Row 6 is going to be the 24 of Brian Bizzle and the 91 of Jim Walking. Row 7 is going to be the 23 of Raymond Yeager and the 78 of John Van Varelis. Row 8 is going to be the 19 of Francois Peltier and the 21 of Dan Butler. And row 9 is going to be the 51 of Brandon Young and the 555 of Butch Frazier. In row 10 is going to be the 80 of Bruce Clay and the 33 of Josh Coley. And not rounding out the field, sorry, next to rounding out the field, row 11 is going to be the 47 of Trevor Graffam and the 101 of David Gainforth. And there it is, rounding out your field here tonight. In row 12 is going to be the 7 of Brett Mesvey and the 64 of Tony Rice. And, of course, everybody is starting here for tonight's race. So we'll see how this one goes. I expect to see some great racing, and well, again, it's something we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, this looks like a solid field here. 24 cars here at Texas Motor Speedway, ready to take the green flag for 130 laps of racing excitement here. Looks like we had about, 6 cars not take times, including the 33 of Josh Coley I spoke of, one that normally sits back there and doesn't take time. But here we are taking the green flag right now with the 8 car out front.
You are, and indeed, Mikey Neal is your race leader, and he gets a fairly good-sized jump there, as we'll have to wait and see if he can hold that lead. Again, a long run could be in the cards here. It just really depends on what we see early in this race. Will we see the caution come out, or will we see these guys stay calm, or will they be aggressive? That's all going to play into how this all works out. But right now, they look to be fairly aggressive, or fairly less aggressive, as our front probably 15 cars have really kind of laid back. They're not pressing the issue too far, although Sal Casey is right on the back bumper of Mikey Neal.
He certainly is. As they come down the backstretch and going into turn 3, they are bumper to bumper. The grip here at Texas Motor Speedway is pretty intense early on in a run. Those tires grip. You get heavy traction, high speeds, and but then again, as the run goes on and on and on, the grip goes away pretty quick. This track is notably one of those tracks that will eat away tires, especially that right front. So they're going to have to take care of that tires if they're going to want to make their cars work for the long run.
Yeah, they definitely are going to have to make every lap count. You don't want to be too slow, but you kind of got to baby it a little bit. As Sal Casey looks to the outside but can't quite do it. Let's go back here a little ways Going a little too far. There's another little group that's battling side by side. That is Alex Huffman, Justin Starr, and Brian Bizzle, as they are side by side, the 99 and the 5 right now, battling for that position. And it looks like Justin Starr is going to get it, and he may take the spot officially. We'll see from Brandon Dorsett, but I don't think he has him cleared 100% just yet.
Yeah, the 40 car's looking to the outside right now, going to turn 1 as they work through turns 1 and turns 2. The 8 car's still holding off here, so maybe he's got something for the long run. But we'll see. The first 4 or 5 cars are right there bumper to bumper going into turn 3.
They are indeed, and we are checking some few things while we do this, so we're going to be pulling double duty. But Mikey Neal is a very good driver. I expect to see him do a good job of holding off this field. The question is, can he get the win here tonight? For someone who said he just didn't have a good shot here, he sure is doing a good job of it. Well, let's go back a little further here to one we know. That is Josh Coley back in the 33 machine, back in 19th, as he just got by Trevor Graffam to take that spot away. But Trevor Graffam's not done just yet. He's going to try to take him on the outside. But I didn't think that was going to work. Indeed, it doesn't. So Trevor Graffam will stay back in 20th. And Josh Coley officially has secured 19th place, trying to work his way up to the front of this field.
Yeah, that's one of those issues when you don't take a qualifying time. You kind of set yourself up for a little more work than those that start up front. You're coming from the back, and you have to avoid those wrecks if there are wrecks. And a lot more work for Josh, but he's a good driver. In the Northwest Xfinity Series, he's one of those drivers you see running up front. He often comes from the back and gets solid top 5 finishes. So I'd expect him, if he stays out of trouble, to finish up front somewhere.
Yeah, I definitely think he will. It's just really a matter of how quickly he can get up there and if he can stay out of trouble on top of that. So we'll see. Right now, we go back. We'll also pull up here top 3 here on the top. Mikey Neal currently has a 0.3 second lead. And I just want to point out your top probably 10 drivers right now, especially those second, third, and fourth. Even first, you can even count 5th and 6th in there as well. And 7th, the top 7 cars are not spread out right now. Usually we see them get spread out a little bit, but that's not the case here, as Bryson Barker does make the pass on Sal Casey. So now maybe Bryson Barker, if he can officially clear him, he does lose the spot again, can get up there and make a run at Mikey Neal. But the longer they go, the older these tires are going to get, as they're already running just about a second slower than they were on their fastest lap.
Yeah, when you got these guys back there in second and third battling side by side, that's actually hurting themselves, according to the lead. Neal there, he's going to pull away. The longer they fight side by side, it's going to be an advantage to the leader. And the leader, as you can see, has opened up just over a half-second lead over second.
Yeah, he's pulled away quite a bit. And that's what he needs to do, though. He needs to get as far away as he can, because the older these tires get, they're going to be a little less racy. And if you're stuck in a group, that's really not where you want to be. That's a bad spot. That can very well lead to someone sliding up into you, giving you damage. Even if it doesn't cause you to spin out or wreck, that damage will slow you down, as you just saw the 40 of Sal Casey get into the outside wall.
Well, I didn't catch that, but going into turn 1, we got 4 cars there, side by side, tight little battle there. Once again, the 8 car is actually holding his own out front there. But caution free so far. That's a good thing.
Caution free, 12 laps in, going to be 13 at the line. And again, we're just watching this front battle. It's just so intense right now that I'm not 100% sure what's going to play out here between these guys. Jameer Muhammad sitting in 6th place right now. He's having a much better run than he did last race on Sunday, as he just did not have the finish he wanted. We really didn't even talk about him a whole lot, but here he is kind of redeeming himself, putting on a good finish, trying to run down Bill Edwards.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on in his last race, as I wasn't there. Looks like he's got a solid car right now. He's moving up there to the 6th position, kind of minding his own, watching that car in front of him, trying to see where he can make his move to take over that 5th spot going into turn 3.
And he will do it here shortly, I'm sure. So we'll just keep an eye on him and watching him. And last time we checked in with Mikey Neal up here, he had 0.3 second lead. It's now 2.949, so that lead is growing every single lap. Meanwhile, let's go back here a little ways to another group that we were talking about a second ago that I haven't talked about in a while here. That is Justin Starr, who has officially cleared the 5 of Brandon Dorsett. Sterling Smith back there as well. Brian Bizzle, Jim Locking. This little group here is another group that's going on as they have kind of sectioned themselves off into different little groups at the moment. So this is very interesting to see here at Texas. Let's see if we can zoom out a little bit here. There's probably about 3 to 4 distinct little groups running around this track right now.
Yeah, and as you spoke of Justin Starr, he's kind of leading that group there with him and the 5 car running bumper to bumper. And then you got a little bit of a gap there back to the 50 car. That 50 car is a pretty cool looking car. Looks like it's resemblance to some sort of a military paint scheme there. Pretty cool there. But Justin Starr, once again, he's running at 8th place right there and leading the 5 as they're going into turn 1.
He is leading him into turn 1. We'll see. Brandon Dorsett, though, in that 5, trying to make a run on him, but can't quite get to him. He is on his back bumper. Just can't quite complete that pass, but he may do it this time by, as he is going to go to the inside. But Justin Starr going to shut the door there and not let him in. He didn't cut him off by any means, but he definitely shut that door a little bit and did not let him by. And that's exactly what you have to do. Let's go back a little bit here to the 78 of John Van Varelis in that Nesquik machine. And he is doing a pretty good job hanging in 13th place right now. Behind them is the new guy. This is his very first race. That is Bruce Clay in the 80 machine. Again, this is his very first race. He's been in the league, but this is his actual first race. So 14th place out of 24, 10 people behind him. So not doing a too terribly bad job here tonight.
No, not at all. Not for a first race. Pretty solid run going there. And just behind them, we spoke of Josh Coley back there. He was in the 19th position. He was in the 16th, just took the spot away from the 19 car. However, the 19 car coming off 2, going into 3, just took that spot back. So Josh Coley in the 19 putting up a fierce battle here.
Yeah, those two have been duking it out for quite some time now, trying to settle out who's going to be where. But right now it does belong to the 19 of Francois Peltier, so we'll see if he can get back by him. Again, believe if I'm correct here, the 19 is actually a tire changer for an actual Xfinity driver, so he has real-world experience here when it comes to racing. So it'll be very interesting to see if maybe one day we can see him in the victory lane here in this league. But he's holding his own right now against Josh Coley here. We're 21 laps in, so 110 laps to go, caution-free so far.
Yeah, caution-free is fantastic. It's providing some excellent racing. Got some nice battles going on throughout the field. Some cars are spacing out here, including the leader. The leader is about just under 2 seconds, about 1.7 seconds ahead of second place, Dustin Covington. Looks like these cars are settling in. Tires wearing down. Cars are slowing down a little bit. When are we expecting these first rounds of pit stops?
At our last note, we were thinking, I believe it was somewhere around 30 to 35 laps, somewhere in there was our estimate. So we should see him coming in as Sal Casey gets a little contact with the wall. May have had a little contact with Bill Edwards too. But yeah, our estimate is somewhere in the 30-ish, 32, 35 laps, somewhere in there. So that's when we should see him, and that's only in about 7 to 12 laps.
Yeah, I'm watching the 40 car there of Sal Casey. Looks like he's got a little bit of right front fender damage there. Might not hurt him too bad here. Maybe he'll get that fixed when he comes down for his first pit stop. I can't even speak right now, but yeah, he's continuing in the right direction, and he's right there on the bumper of the 75 going into turn 1.
Yeah, I expect him to do good here. As we'll see. Again, this track is a difficult track. It's not the easiest track to race at. So it looks, as far as tracks go, it doesn't look as hard as maybe say something like Charlotte, where you can easily spin out on turn 1. But this is one of those tracks, and you could probably confirm as being a racer here, it's kind of deceiving. It tricks you, but it very well can come back and bite you if you don't pay it respect.
Yeah, that's true. This track is pretty intense. It's pretty aggressive. The track does eat you up over a longer run. It eats up the tires. It can throw your handling off a little bit. Coming off turn 2 is kind of a sharp left from getting into that wall on the backstretch there, and then coming off turn 4, you could really lose it. It gets really loose. But looks like these cars are hanging on just fine here. No cautions like we've mentioned, and well, I'm getting excited for this first round of pit stops to see what these guys do.
Yeah, I am curious to see if and when. We know if. There is no if. They will come in. The question is, when will they come in? Again, somewhere here in the next about 3 to 5 laps, we should see them come in. Will somebody short pit is the question. Now, if you divide this into 30-lap segments with 130 laps to go, so that'd be, or in the race, that'd be 30, 60, 90. You'd be right there. So 35 should make it about a 3-stop race.
Yeah, and that's counting out a chance at a caution. If those cautions come in here, then it's gonna juggle that up severely. You know all these cars are gonna come down and take 4 tires and fuel if a caution came out. But then it's gonna juggle up that breakup in laps like you just mentioned.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the question is, will we see that caution, or will it go caution-free here tonight? Thus far, no caution. And luckily my phone was on silent there, as we just had an Amber Alert going off in my area. So thank goodness that was turned off. But back to the racing action. Somebody may want to throw out an Amber Alert for Mikey Neal, as he is just pretty much checked out from his field. I'm not sure where, if anybody behind him knows exactly where he's at, as they're just now coming into the corner, and he's halfway down the backstretch at this point.
Yeah, that's what over 2.5 second lead will do. He's kind of got a whole back straightaway lead over second place Dustin Covington there, and he's got to be feeling pretty comfortable out there with that lead. The next two, second and third place, looks like they're battling pretty close though.
Yes, they definitely are. It's crazy how good the battling can get. You know, they get spread out, but they have those good battles going on at the same time. So it'd be interesting to see if we can get a caution, or say if we can get one like we want one, but if we get one, what this will do. Again, it's fixed setups, as we do have our first driver coming down pit road. It looks like it's going to be Bill Edwards in the 75. The first one coming down pit road. David Gainforth, I will say, has already come down, but this is the first one of our main top 10 guys coming down pit road. And then we have some more takers. Looks like Trevor Graffam's going to come down as well, and Tony Rice coming down with him.
Yeah, this is probably a little bit earlier than I was expecting, based on, you know, splitting this up into maybe 2 or 3 stops. The eight of Neal is staying out on the track, and surprisingly, he's got about a 3.5 second lead over second place right now, Mohammed. And we'll see when he makes his pit stop. He's going to be losing that track time. These guys with these faster, newer tires are going to be much, much faster. So he's going to be losing the longer he stays out.
He is indeed. He's going to want to get in soon, as we've had currently 4 or 5 drivers come in so far. About 5 drivers. Bruce Clay coming in, and there goes Mikey Neal. Sal Casey going to be coming in behind him. Sal Casey almost locking it up, trying to get on pit road. Again, this is where races can be made or broken here. You can win one or lose one here on pit road. Luckily, it's early in the race, so I don't expect to see too terribly much happening here. If you make a mistake, you can come back for it, but you definitely do not want to if you can at all get around it. Josh Coley's on pit road, as well as Dan Butler.
Yeah, it looks like the 8 of Neal got into his pit box pretty clean, stopped. Both sides went up. He took 4 tires and fuel, and he's getting back on the track right now. Let's see how much time he might have lost to probably the 75 that came in a lap or 2 prior to this. So we'll see.
We will. And speaking of seeing, Alex Huffman, Bryson Barker, Justin Starr, Jim Locking, John Van Ellis, and Brett Mesery all coming down pit road to do their stops here. They came down in like a herd of 5 cars. That is the most we've seen come in at one time together. But indeed, they did come down all together, and they will take pit stops. So now only 9 drivers remain out on the track that have not come down, and I would expect to see the 2 of Jameer Muhammad coming down this time, as there goes Sterling Smith and Raven Yeager to come down pit road this time.
Yeah, and I'm watching the 75 now, just kind of curious to see how far back he is and how much he's gaining from pitting before these other guys. However, he's just back there in 17th right now, a lap down. Looks like when it cycles back around was when we'll know how much he's gained. Looks like actually he's in 11th now, as he took across that start-finish line. He's in 11th.
Yeah, he definitely is. So we'll wait to see where he goes, as he's still cycling around. There he is now to 9th. And just in front of him is Mikey Neal. So Mikey Neal still being probably the guy that's going to come out in front. But the question, like you said, will Bill Edwards get to him there? As it looks like Brandon Young may have had some problems on pit road. So he had to back up there. We saw a negative speed, so he was going backwards. Brandon Dorsett out. Mikey Neal up to 4th already, with Bill Edwards right behind him, as Brandon Dorsett does come down. But Brian Bizzle and Butch Frazier have not come in. These guys probably want to stay out and try to lead a lap.
Yeah, leading a lap probably gives them a bonus point of some sort. I'm not too familiar with the rules in this series, but if it is, yeah, you want those points. Leading laps can give you bonus points. Anytime you can get bonus points will help you in your point standing situation. And looks like Mikey Neal is still in 4th place here, and he's chasing down the top 3, Bizzle, Dorsett, and Frazier.
He is indeed, and Bizzle coming down pit road this time. He will officially go in, and that will give the lead back to Mikey Neal, as he has now led 31 laps. He has probably about 15 times more laps led than anybody else. The next one around, I guess that'd be about 10 times technically, is Jameer Muhammad with 3, Brian Bizzle 2, and Brandon Dorsett 1. Nobody else has led any laps here. We've had 3 different lead changes.
Yeah, Mikey Neal there had a pretty solid lead over 2nd place, which didn't hurt him so much staying out there a few extra laps. Green flag racing allowed him to see the field cycle through and himself cycle back to the front, and he's continuing to lead this race with about a 4.5-second lead now. Pretty crazy run there. He's got a rocket ship.
He does indeed, and it looks like that is, I believe, the 24 behind him. It is. We'll take a look back there. That is Brian Bizzle, who is 1 lap down, I do believe. Back in 22nd he is, so he is not on the lead lap. Now he's on the lead lap, as obviously Mikey Neal had no reason to fight him, other than the sheer fact that he could hold him a lap down and not give him that lap back. But I honestly don't think with 7 laps versus 1 lap he was going to hold him back anyway, and Mikey knew that. So why battle him and wear out your tires? Let him go. Even though he's on the lead lap, he has to go all the way around this track before he has a chance to get by you again.
Yeah, but that's a great example with the 24 staying out there as long as he did, leading some laps there. It set him back quite a bit. As you can see, he's right there in front of the leader, so he's basically nearly 1 lap down at this point. And he's got a lot of ground to make up. You kind of set yourself up for a little more work when you stay out there. Like I mentioned earlier, the longer you stay out, those fresher tires are gaining plenty of time, several seconds a lap on you, and it can hurt you in the long run if you stay out.
Yeah, it definitely can. And what this is going to do is put everyone on a different pit stop cycle here. However, if a caution was to come out, I think you would probably agree with this assessment here that if that caution does come out, that it's going to change everything up, and I would expect at this point everyone has 4 to 12 laps on their tires. Everybody's coming down pit road regardless, and that will put everyone back on the same cycle, which changes things up as we have less than 100 laps to go right now. I definitely think everybody would come down.
Oh, certainly. Tires here, 4 tires for sure. Gas, definitely a asset to these cars. They're definitely going to come down and take 4 tires and fuel if a caution came out. And the 24 there of Bizzle being right there in front of the leader, I think he'd be happy to see a caution at this point. That way he can catch himself back up to the field. And then the 64 there of Tony Rice is 1 lap down. He's the first car a lap down. If they have that free pass option in this league, he would benefit from a caution as well.
Yeah, they will. They do have the lucky dog and, of course, the wave around if they're ahead of the leader. So those guys could get their laps back, and that would be awesome for them if they could, as we're on lap 45 of 130. And I just want to point out here that, we talked about how Brian Bizzles, we're still watching him for a minute, got by Mikey Neal about 5 laps ago or so. But you're looking at 6 laps on Brian Bizzle versus 12 on Mikey Neal. And look how far he's got. He has not got very far ahead of him since then. So when you apparently get to about 6-7 laps on these tires, you just don't have that speed anymore. So he was able to get by him to get on the lead lap, but as soon as he did, his tires are gone, and he is pulling away, but it's not very much. So you might as well be on a lap down at that point, because you're just not far enough ahead of the leader to say that you're not a lap down.
Yeah, and that's the huge difference in tire wear there. The 24 has got more, or actually you said less laps. But it's kind of shocking. It's kind of working in reverse there. The 8 car's got more time on his tires, but he must have the better handling car here, and maybe not eating up that right front as much. Maybe the 24 is eating up his tires a little more than the 8 car, and that's hurting the 24. Not sure what's going on there. Doesn't look like there's any damage involved of any sort, so I'm not sure. We'll have to see if the 24 can salvage something here and somehow get himself back in the race.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see if he can salvage that and come back. As we'll see, we're going to go up to Sal Casey here for just a minute. And let's go on board with him on that roll bar camera. And I can't tell. Looks like there is a little bit of a crinkle on the front of that car. And keep in mind, this league does not have fast repairs. So if you get damage here, you don't want to repair it under green. It will take you too long, and you will pretty much repair yourself right out of the race. As crazy and contradicting as that sounds, repairing your car seems like it would fix it, get you back in the race. It's actually the opposite. It will actually eliminate you from the race, especially when you go to a league like this, like Racecore, where we are right now, and these guys are running 49 laps caution-free. Almost a repeat of what we saw last night, and we very well could see it with Northwest, where we went 70 laps before we saw our first caution. We may see that and then some here tonight.
Yeah, it's looking like we're setting that pace of no cautions. These guys have kind of found their grooves and have kind of stuck with it, and they're just there's a little bit of a scuffle there with the 64 and the 51, but they held on, they keep going, And the 40 there of Sal Casey is right there on the outside of the 64, almost got sandwiched up there against the wall. I do notice that 40 still has that damage. That's from scrubbing the wall there earlier. And yeah, in the Northwest Xfinity Series, we do have that fast repair, so that's a beneficial thing for us. But, you know, I think it'd be a little more challenging for us on our side with the Northwest Series if we didn't have that fast repair. Heavy damage can cost you a lot of time repairing on pit road, something you don't want to see.
Yeah, it definitely don't. And, you know, honestly, as long as I've been around racing here on iRacing in these leagues and these drivers have been around, that fast repair, using one fast repair, allows for, how do we put this nicely, bonehead moves. If somebody does get in your way or cause a wreck or something like that, it allows you that kind of forgiveness. On the flip side of that, not having one does make you have to be a little more strict on your rules, which they are very strict on here. They don't allow a lot of craziness, but that is why we're able to do what we're doing right here. Go 53 laps caution free because they don't have that fast repair. These guys know they can't just drive the car and send it into the corner and it not stick. They don't have that fast repair to rely on. So, you know, it has its advantages to not having that fast repair, but it also has the disadvantages too.
Yeah, it does. It certainly does. We have it in the Northwest Xfinity Series, that fast repair. It is beneficial when it's needed. However, it kind of throws some of the realistic part of the racing experience out the window, because in reality, you don't get that in real life. You don't get that chance to just pull in and get a brand new car or truck when something goes wrong and you wreck. So I would actually, to be honest, I would actually like to see that fast repair go away over there in the Northwest Xfinity Series, but that's not my call. But here they are experiencing not having that fast repair, so of course they're going to be a little more cautious on making these moves, whatever moves, when they're racing side by side, bumper to bumper. They got to be a little more patient.
They do. And speaking of being patient here, we're going back to the front here to check this out with these tire wear. We're 22 laps in. Right now, we'll be seeing pit stops here again shortly. But we're watching Mikey Neal in the 8. He is your race leader. Then you go back to the 24, who has picked up some spots, keep in mind. He has got around some people, but he is actually losing ground to your leader right now. Even though he has fresher tires, Mikey Neal has actually once again reeled him back in. So this is very interesting that, you know, you hit about 17, 15 laps or so. The tires pretty much equal, whether it's 15 or 25. The tires look to be about the same, and Mikey Neal has reeled him back in. And this is bad news because of the fact that caution... or that he's about to go a lap down again, and pit stops are about to start again. So if he goes a lap down, that would put him 2 laps down when he went in to do his pit stop. So that is a really bad spot to be in.
Yeah, it is. He's holding off the 8 car at the moment, going into turn 1 here. But like you said, he's got a few laps newer tires in the 8 car. But these pit stops are going to start happening again. The 24 is going to help himself, is probably going to want to stay out a couple more laps to get himself around the track and probably pick up the lead for a lap or two. He's really going to hope for a caution during that time so he can kind of reset himself with the field. But the longer the green flag laps go on in this situation, you're going to see the 24 end up further and further and further back.
You are indeed. And speaking of on pit road, Bill Edwards completes his stop, and he is back going on to the track. He is now 1 lap down. He has damage there quite a bit to the front right side, but he is on pit road now. He's off of pit road, so he is back getting onto the racing surface, but he has to come around here. As you'll see right there, the blue cone. He cannot enter the track until he gets to that blue cone and passes it. So he is back on the track. And we'll see. Right now, Jamir Muhammad may be reeling in our leader. And we'll see if maybe Jamir Muhammad will short pit on Mikey Neal here and try to take the lead.
Yeah, we'll see on that. I'm looking at the 75 as well, and he does have some pretty heavy damage there on the right front. I didn't see what happened. I'm not sure if he got into another car. Looks like he may have scraped that outside wall at some point, but that damage is probably going to hurt him a little bit, arrow-wise.
Yeah, definitely will. And we'll see. Again, that may be small enough he can use it, get a little repair done, but we'll see. If he does indeed try to repair any, I doubt he will. We'll see, though. I still think we're not out of the woods for a caution, as we're on lap 61 here of 130. So, again, I don't think we're completely out of the woods, as we are having their connection problems again, as we just lost a little internet. But I don't think we're out of the woods for a caution completely, as Sterling Smith looks to be going, no, he's just hard into the inside wall all of a sudden. I'm not sure what's going on with that 50 machine, but he was going to pit road here, and it looks like he just, or leaving it, and just smashed the outside or inside wall while leaving pit road.
Yeah, I saw that, and the yellow just came out, but it wasn't the 50. It must have been something else there. I tell you, coming off pit road, just about any track you come off pit road, if you cross that cone and to the point where you can start accelerating and getting up to speed, right in that section where you first hit the gas, it is extremely slick, and you can lose it. You can spin that car out very easily. It's very hard to get back on the racetrack. You got to be extremely careful.
And it looks like it's the 19 of Francois Peltier that brings out the caution. So we are going to go take a look real quick before they start coming down pit road. In contact with the 23 is what happened. Raymond Yeager, as he gets up into Raymond Yeager and spins both of them out. And again, that will bring out the caution, as actually Raymond Yeager managed to survive it for the most part. The question is here, as I figured, everybody's coming down pit road, and this is going to change things up. However, this roughly is in their window anyway, so this is almost perfect timing for these drivers.
Yeah, it's kind of a good thing. Some of these guys, and you know what? I'm not sure if the 24. Last I checked, he was out in front of the 8, so I think this is going to benefit him more so than some of these other guys.
Yeah, definitely is going to help some and not help others. As Jameer Muhammad hard onto the gas there coming out of pit road, as it's going to be Mikey Neal that comes out first. And interesting, the one car involved in that is not going down pit road yet. I expect to see him come down here, as obviously I do believe he will be credited with that caution. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that real fast. Mikey Neal not being scored as your race leader, but I believe he will be as soon as Francois Peltier goes in, and he is going in pit road this time. So Mikey Neal cycling back through, back to the lead after pit stops here, this time under caution for the first time on lap 64, and we are still having internet issues here tonight, as we are getting some severe packet loss here, so we do apologize for that. But we are going to step away to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back here in just a few moments.
There's nothing you can do. I'm gonna run all over you. I'm looking for new.
Alright, we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, green flag is back in the air, and we are racing. We'll go ahead and put that back up along with your top three, as we should see some great racing here. Once again, they're bunched up here for second, third, and fourth. Once again, though, Mikey Neal with a nice jump, and he's got some fresh tires. Everybody technically one lap on their tires, as they've got three, but two of those were under caution. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one shakes out now that we have had our first caution, and we're on lap 68 of 130.
Yeah, everybody's got fresh tires, full tank of fuel, as they kind of like reset the field again. Everybody's bunched back up. Mikey Neal out front there. Looks like the 2-car, we spoke of him earlier, is now up there in the second position, having a great run tonight.
He is definitely having one. Again, two of your most dominating drivers. Actually, let's just go through your top 5 right now, especially your top 3. Starting with 5th place, Brandon Dorsett, a driver we have seen here in the last probably 3 weeks or so, the 3-4 races, has just improved so much. It's getting better and better. Sal Casey, a fairly sitting in 4th place right now, as he is doing a terrific job in that number 40 machine. Again, he is just he's just new. He's not new, but he's one of the newer drivers, proving he can hold his own here. Dustin Covington, we talked to him on the other day, where he just couldn't make every race, and here he is sitting in 3rd place right now. And then you have Jameer Muhammad, one of the most winningest drivers here in Racecore, sitting in 2nd, and Mikey Neal, another one of the most winningest drivers, sitting in 1st place. So your top 5 has a mixture of everybody, winning drivers, that are new, drivers that barely can make it, putting on a really good show for you here tonight.
Yeah, from the sounds of it, looks like the 8 and the 2 have found victory lane quite a bit here, but that's not going to stop them here tonight. They, of course, want to win again and again and again, so that's what they're here to do. The 8 car is kind of setting the pace here tonight throughout the race, and right now is leading that 2 car in the turn 1. They're about, what, maybe 4 or 5 car lengths, you say?
Yeah, definitely about that. As if that, anything. Mikey Neal, though, pulling away from this field once again. But, you know, we'll scoot back a little bit. Look at these guys behind them here since we've bunched back up. From about 7th place on, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, even 11th place, still right here in one big group. So, again, you're seeing those big groups of about 10 cars out on this track.
Yeah, and speaking of that, you got the 33 car there, Josh Cooley, who's found himself up into the 6th position, having a great run. You remember he started way in the back, so he's had to battle some a little bit of adversity there, work his way through up there, stay out of trouble, and he's now looking setting his eyes up there on the top 5. We'll see if he gets a solid finish here.
Yeah, we'll be looking to see if they do. And again, you know, we hate to bring it up, as we just wish it would go away, but we do apologize for the stuttering and the pixelation out there. on the stream here tonight. We do have people coming to look at it tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully we can get it sorted out over this holiday weekend or holiday week, whatever you want to call it. We do have some people coming to look at it. We're doing tests on the back end here, and to be quite honest, our internet connection looks like a seismograph having the highest level earthquake you could possibly see on the Richter scale is what it looks like right now. So we think we've identified the problem with some help from some great people out there helping us. So hopefully we'll have it good come Sunday. But right now I wish we did have it looking really good, because there was a really good battle going on with Justin Starr in that Whataburger Chevrolet, and he's sitting in 8th place, having a terrific run for himself here tonight. And I just want to point this out too, as we're doing the math here. You go all the way back to 13th place. Your top 13 drivers right now is where you have to go before you get to the first Ford. Not that they really matter too much of a difference here, but your top 13 cars are Chevrolets before you get to that first Ford.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy there to think of that. It looks like this field is primarily dominated by Chevy Camaros here. And I just want to go back to what you're saying about the broadcast. And I know it's kind of unfortunate to see the pixelation problem going on, and some issues with the stream. But I'm sure the fans and the whatnot that follow understand that technology out there sometimes has issues. And but they are probably aware that BRN puts out great material, excellent broadcasts every week, and you guys are all doing hard work to put these shows on for people. So I'm sure that stuff will get situated hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, definitely hope sooner than later. And speaking of sooner, I'm thinking Jameer Muhammad's probably thinking sooner or later he would like to catch the 8 of Mikey Neal, who has, again, so far dominated this race. 72 laps led of the 78 completed. We're on lap 79. We're fixing to be on lap 80, so laps are winding down very quickly. We've been on the air here for just over an hour, about 2 minutes over the hour, and it has gone by very quickly. I've seen races here at Texas that take 3-4 hours before sometimes. This is not one of them. This race is ticking along very quickly so far, as we'll bring it up here for you on the race stats. We have had 1 caution for 4 laps, also 4 different lead changes, and your fastest lap was a 29.414. And surprisingly enough, that was actually run by Dustin Covington, back in 3rd place right now.
Yeah, in this race, without the cautions, it goes by pretty quick, and that's what these guys want to see. Some clean, long green flag racing. The cautions will kind of slow it down there, so that 1 caution that came out kind of ironically fell in the time frame of the 2nd pit stop, so we probably will be looking at 1 more pit stop, I'd say, as the race continues. The 8 car is still leading the 2 car. The 2 car is kind of falling off there a little bit, about 0.8 of a second back. So not sure if he's got what it takes to get up there and battle that 8 for the lead.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy what's just how good these guys are here. They're just so good. They always put on battles. As we're watching Sal Casey and Brandon Dorsett come across the line, and we were just talking about lap 79. Here we are on 83. Again, for anyone that doesn't know how fast these guys are getting around, obviously you see that 29 up there on the screen, but they're running 30-second time, so we're actually completing 2 laps a minute. So they are running very fast here. As we want to go a little further back here, as we'll go to these guys right in here. That is Jim Locking, Brian Bizzle, Raymond Yeager. As Raymond Yeager gets into the outside wall, goes through the infield grass. No caution so far. Will the caution come out for him is the question. He already had damage. Now he has more. And no caution will come out for Raymond Yeager in the 23 as he takes it through the infield grass and goes and gets the mowing done here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little sideways there, went through the grass, kept it going. No caution. The caution won't come out unless the car, spins out on the racing surface. So he was able to keep it going, and that's what that's why there was no caution.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him that he was able to keep it going, but fortunate at the same time. He didn't go a lap down, but at the flip side of that, I don't know if I would rather have it gone and brought the caution out, because then at least you wouldn't go a lap down and you would be further up, and you could maybe get some tires, especially with all that grass on them. He is going to want some fresh tires. And speaking of that again here, as we talked about a second ago, here, once again, we're on lap 20 to 22 for these drivers. We're fixing to be in the caution or the pit window yet again. It seems like we were just down pit road.
Yeah, we certainly are. I was suspecting we'd be seeing one more round of pit stops here before the end of this race, and I'm sure that 23 car, like you said, getting all that dirt and grass and stuff all over his tires, probably wants a fresh set of tires. Looks like he probably got into the wall there, scraped the wall a little bit. Maybe that upset the car and sent him down into the infield there. He's got some damage on his nose. I bet he's wishing he could hit pit road right now, but for now he's out on the track.
He is indeed. Let's go back to the front. Mikey Neal, 1.349, a second lead, as he is definitely moving forward. And I'm not sure if that stuttering was just on my end or on the end of the stream, but having some issues there. But again, Mikey Neal pushing forward right now. We're on lap 88, so it won't be long before we are with less than 30 laps to go, as we are well past the halfway point, and we are coming up on 30 to go here in about 4 laps. I'll make it 3.
Yeah, Mikey Neal there continues to lead this race. He's going through turns 1 and 2. He is now up to nearly a second-and-a-half lead over Mohammed there in the 2 car. These cars have kind of pulled away from those guys in the back. I think third there, Dustin Govington's about 3.7 seconds back. And then Sal Casey there, 4.5 seconds back. And rounding out the top 5, Brandon Dorsett, a little over 5 seconds back. I bet all these guys want to hit pit road, get fresh tire and fuel.
Yeah, they definitely are going to want to, as everybody is trying their best to get to the front. That is obviously the ultimate goal here tonight. I still find it very funny that the one driver that told us don't count on him finishing good here tonight is leading this race, and we haven't seen his dad, Mike Neal, in chat here tonight. Not sure if he's here with us or not, but he is putting on a clinic on this field right now. 84 laps led. Gonna make it 85 this next time by, as we're on lap 91 of 30. So right now, 40 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he'd be saying anything negative about that car. Maybe that's part of his pre-race strategy there, trying to scare the field into thinking that he's got nothing for him. And then he comes out here and does the opposite and kind of blows them away. So maybe he was just getting these guys their hopes up. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? But he's got a rocket ship tonight as he continues to lead.
He definitely has a rocket ship here. For anyone that's just tuning in with us here tonight, of course, you're watching the Global Building Contractors 12-week series. Again, we will wrap this up around the first week of January. So again, it's a little 12-week series after their main series. Hopefully everyone out there is enjoying the race. I know minus the issues we are facing, we are working on those, but hopefully you enjoy the race that we bring to you. If you do, hit that thumbs up. If you're new, hit the subscribe button and that little bell. You'll be notified of all upcoming events. And as well, we only mention it one time a night here. We don't want anyone to feel pressured into doing it. But if you want to be a little bit more part of the channel, definitely feel free to donate in chat. That is completely optional. Again, it helps us keep going here if they are in, but is optional to you. If you choose to do it, you can, and we definitely appreciate it, but you do not have to. And back to the racing action here. Let's go back a little bit here as somebody who we've seen in victory lane recently, or I have. That is the 7 of Brett Messervy. He's currently 1 lap down, back in 17th place. Does have some damage. I'm sure he would love to see a caution come out, maybe get that lap back, as well as the 50 in front of him of Sterling Smith that he actually may get by here in a second.
Yeah, they're kind of battling there, nose to tail, side by side, going into turn 1 there. Looks like both these cars have suffered a little bit of damage. You can see that in the right front of the 7, and as we've seen earlier, the 50 getting into the inside wall coming off pit road. Looks like that's probably hindered their race a little bit and kind of set them back as they're back there in, looks like 16th, 17th position. So struggling a little bit tonight, but they're still moving in the right direction.
Yeah, they definitely are moving in the right direction here, so we'll see if they can get that lap back. That's going to require a caution if they want to get it back. Is obviously Mikey Neal is no intention of slowing down anytime soon, and even if he did, it doesn't gonna matter. And there's what I expected here. Coming down on lap 33 is gonna be Jamir Muhammad. He's notorious for this. He is going to short pit Mikey Neal and see if he can get the lead, and he very well may do it, but buddy Jamir Muhammad actually hits the wall on pit road and messes up his pit stall, so all that short pitting may be for nothing after a mistake on pit road.
Yeah, and just as you say that, the 8 of Mikey Neal is on pit road for his most likely final pit stop of this race if it stays green the rest of the way. We'll see if he gets into his pit stop smoothly, gets his 4 tires in fuel. Definitely the 2 car having an issue there is going to hurt him. He's probably trying to jump it, trying to get some pressure tires before the 8 so he can gain them on the track.
He definitely wanted to have a flawless pit stop, and like I said at the beginning of this race, races can be won or lost on pit road, and unfortunately I don't know how bad that's going to hurt him, but that very well could have just cost Jamir Muhammad the win here tonight, as Mikey Neal is off pit road. We'll see. So far Mikey Neal is going to come out ahead of him as he is thundering here back onto the track. He's clear of the cone, and here he comes back onto the track, and there comes Jamir Muhammad. He does beat him back out on the track, so short pitting with that mistake did not pay off for the 2 of Jamir Muhammad, so now he's got to run him down once again.
Yeah, mistakes are critical, especially late in the race. You really don't have time to make up for those mistakes. And, you know, we kind of assumed that he was coming down when he did to kind of set the pit stop, set the trend here to try to jump the pit stops here. And maybe in hopes of getting on and off pit road cleanly and getting himself some more track position, just enough to get ahead of the 8 car. However, that mistake, once again, has kind of hurt him, and he is now behind the 8 car, and like we've seen all race, that 8 car has been out front and hard to catch, and he's making it certainly hard to beat.
He is indeed, and we now have, well, we will anyway, when Mikey, now Brian Bizzle, actually your race leader, he got by Mikey Neal, or sorry, he didn't get by him, he hadn't pitted yet. When Brian Bizzle comes down or to the line first, we will have less than 30 to go, as it's now there, actually 101 of 130. So we have 30 laps to go. The question is, when will Brian Bizzle come down? It looks like he has to come down this time. He's got 36 laps on the tires, and he's going to make the trip down pit road. It looks like Dan Butler's going to go with him in the 21 machine, and that will give the lead to Mikey Neal as soon as he cycles back around, and that will be here this time by. So Mikey Neal will lead his 91st lap, as we now have 28 laps to go in this race, actually 29 laps to go.
Yes, pit road's been pretty busy here the last couple laps, and pit stops have been cycling through. Shortly here, it looks like the 8 will cycle back to the top spot here. He's definitely had the fast car all night, and I honestly, at this point, with about 26, 27 laps left, I don't think anybody out here really has anything for him.
Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement there. I don't think anybody does. If anybody's going to catch him, it's going to be Jamir Muhammad, as he's the closest to him. But I just don't think he has quite the speed. Mikey Neal, while again he stated to us in a pre-race thing there that he just he didn't expect to have a good finish here. I'm wondering again if that's just part of his strategy to throw us off here in the booth, or to get us to talk about him a little bit, because he has not only been up front, he has flat dominated this race with 92 laps led of the 103 completed. We have had 7 different lead changes, and we've had a few different leaders here, 5 different to be exact, as it's been Neal, Bizzle, Muhammad, Casey, and Dorsett that have led laps here tonight. But because of Mikey Neal, nobody has actually led more than 5 laps other than himself.
Yeah, that's what a dominating car is certainly going to do. It's going to take control of the race and be out front. Mikey Neal is certainly having this race going for him in every way, shape, and form. These other guys kind of just chasing them down. And I'm looking at the 40 car right now. He's running in 4th place. That little bit of damage he had doesn't really seem to be hurting him too much. He's running a pretty solid race there in the top 5, and still moving forward. Looks like we have nearly 20 laps to go, 23, 24 laps to go. This race is winding down here pretty quick.
Yeah, it definitely is winding down very quickly, as you're right to be 24 or so laps to go. I'm curious if we'll see a caution. We've only seen that one caution so far, so we already know that Racecore is notorious for low and 0 cautions, and obviously that is going to be the case here tonight, as our only caution came out earlier in this race. I believe it was lap 64 when it came out for 4 laps. Right now, still, as of this race so far, we'll take a look there and see. Our fastest lap still is set by Dustin Covington all the way back on lap 2. We have not had a faster lap since then. I am still surprised by that. And meanwhile, he is running 30.189, so he is actually faster right now than Jamir Muhammad and Mikey Neal.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, but you kind of noted their lap 2. I'd have to say that might have to do with the track being a little greener. Not so much rubber laid down at that point early in the race. Track's really fast at that point before that rubber's laid down, and the track gets to be a little more slick at that point. So we're later in the race now, and you can see that rubber's been laid down. The track temps have probably increased a little bit, and track's a little more slick at this point, so it might be harder to lay down that faster lap. So I'd have to suspect that that's why the fast lap came early in this race, and I don't think anybody's going to have anything at beating that lap time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think anybody will. You can just see right in there how much blacker this track is, and that is because of the rubber that has been laid down. So nobody is going to beat that time. That is the key. Loose is fast. Whether it's on dirt or asphalt, the looser you can get that car. And I believe if anyone out there has ever seen the Days of Thunder movie, they stress that and point that out very good in that movie, that being on the edge of out of control, that is where you're fastest. And it's the same in here. The looser you can be on that fine line between wrecking and winning, it's a very, very thin line, and if you can get on it, you can be very fast.
Yeah, certainly. There's different ways to be fast. In fact, some tracks, I've found that you can actually be faster if you are just a little bit slower. Meaning, you're backing up your corners and running your race a little different than some others. And if you just slow down and be patient enough, you sometimes can end up being faster than some of the other guys. So it depends on the track that you go to, and depends on how the cars handle and how the tires wear at certain tracks. But yeah, each track has its own unique characteristics, and each track usually fits to certain drivers. Not everybody likes every track. Some have favorites, and some have tracks they deem evil. And but yeah, it's all part of racing, and it's fun. It's fun to figure this stuff out.
It definitely is. You know, that's why it's called racing and not football or any other sport. It's all about trying to figure out every single track. You know, a lot of these tracks were designed by one person or a group of people. Then those are not the same group of people from place to place. So everyone is different. Everyone's unique. And here at iRacing, of course, every track is laser scanned to have every detail that the real track has. So while this is a sim, because they're laser scanned, these drivers are feeling everything a real driver would. The bumps, all of that, the banking. They feel just like the actual track does. So, you know, it's hard on these drivers to go out here and race, because they pretty much experience everything that a real racer would here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, iRacing, being a sim form of racing, is what it is, and it's actually one of the best forms of racing you can do without actually being in a real race car. You do experience, like you said, being laser scanned. You do feel if a bump is in the track in real life, you'll feel that in your force feedback wheel that you're using. You'll feel that bump. You can actually feel the gripping in the corners. It's absolutely fantastic that they've come up with something like this, so realistic. The only thing that you're not really going to experience is the sense of motion per se, and when you wreck, you certainly ain't going to get that headache, because you're not going to be banging your head around or breaking your wrist or anything like that. So you don't feel the impacts, you don't really feel the motion, but you get to feel pretty much everything else, I would say. And it also depends on how your sim rig's set up too. There are more sophisticated motion sims and stuff like that where you can get a little bit of that motion. But it's an absolutely fantastic thing, and I have to tell you, Charles, since I've started racing on iRacing back in 2010, I have never been able to pick up an Xbox or PS4 controller and play NASCAR on console. This is just so realistic here. I just can't go back to that arcadey feel.
I can imagine where that would be. And Sal Casey gets into the outside wall. He had a huge run on Jameer Muhammad, but couldn't complete the pass there as we were watching this battle. And he indeed does manage to get quite a bit of damage hitting that wall. And that's going to let Jameer Muhammad get by us. We're on lap 118 of 130. So we are 3 laps away to 10 laps to go. So we're currently sitting 13 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway in your race. Again, this is the Global Building Contractors 12-week series. And I believe we're on like week 6 or 7 at this point. We're getting further into the season, and it's already starting to become very apparent that we have certain drivers that are going to be high up in this series, like Mikey Neal, Jameer Muhammad, Sal Casey. Dustin Covington, not so much, but that's just because he's not here all the time. Alex Huffman, Brandon Dorsett, Josh Coley, even Justin Starr getting a top 10 finish here right now as he runs. So it's becoming very clear who our top runners are going to be in this little mini-series.
Yeah, and as these laps are winding down, of course, we can still say that the 8 car is out front leading. He's on the backstretch. He's actually taken to the inside of the 80 car there of Bruce Clay. I believe you said it was Bruce Clay's first start. He's having a solid run. He's running 13th, but he has now been passed and put 1 lap down.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that that's happening on his first race. He was here the other day. I believe it was Sunday, but he did not race. He never made it into the session to start the race. So that's unfortunate that on his first race he is back a lap down. Josh Coley, though, I want to pull up his driver bar real quick. He started 20th, and he is all the way up to 7th. He's been as high as 6th place, but he was one of those that did not put in a qualifying time and managed to work his way up to a top 10 so far as they run. So definitely very good to see him working his way through this field.
Yeah, Josh is a great guy to race with over on the Northwest Xfinity side and the Truck Series side. I had no doubts that he would find his way up towards the front. Like you said, he's run up to as high as 6th, currently running 7th. But it leaves you to wonder if maybe he would have qualified and qualified well, like say in the top 5, had he had been able to hold that and stay up there and even be running better than he is now. He had to come from the back, so he put a lot of work into getting where he's at. But would he have had the car to stay up front? You know, we may never know.
Yeah, we just may never know indeed. You know, we'll have to just kind of wait and see. Maybe we can talk to him later on, but he'll have his work cut out for him. He needs to gain about 4 spots if he wants to get into that top 3 so that we can talk to him. So hopefully he can do it. I know he's got the fast enough of a driver to do it. But these are fixed setups. I don't know if we've mentioned that yet here tonight. These are actually fixed setups here. So they can't tweak them. And even if they could tweak them, when are you going to do it? Because we, again, only had that one caution. And here we are sitting right now with 7 laps to go. It's going to be 5 to go very quickly. And that is that point of no return if the caution was to come out.
I don't know if any of the leaders up there want to see a caution at this point. Well, maybe everybody does but the 8, since everybody's been chasing that 8 car from the green flag. But that 8 car certainly set the pace for the field and is off to the races here, looking for a victory. A caution right now, I'd say we'd probably... I don't know if we'd see people pit, drivers pit at that point. We would probably see a restart, though, because there's still 6 laps or so left.
There's definitely plenty of laps for something to happen, as there it is now, 5 laps to go. So this is at that point now with 5 to go. If a caution was to come out, now the tide has turned. Mikey Neal would love to see it if a caution came out. This race would be over. So the question is, now it's 4 to go. Will we see a caution? And if we do, who will it be involved? Obviously, Mikey Neal having a solid run, so I doubt it'd be him. But anybody could potentially bring out this caution and end this race now.
Yes, in fact, it would probably be over at this point. Typically, within 5 laps, the race would then be over, as it takes about 3 laps, give or take, to go through the caution period and get that reset, that green flag again. So it looks like the race would officially be over if the caution came out now. And of course, now the 8 car wouldn't mind seeing that, because it would basically solidify the win for him. Looks like he's on his way to the win regardless. Great run for him tonight. And yeah, just a couple laps left here.
It is indeed going to be 2 to go at the line right there. 2 laps separate Mikey Neal, the driver who said don't count on him having a solid finish here tonight, from victory lane here. Obviously, I know his dad is out there watching, cheering him on, and a lot of other people. I know we have a couple of fans for him out there. So it'll be very interesting to see if it comes out. I don't think it's going to. There it is, right there. 1 lap to go. White flag is in the air, presented by Northwest Racing Series. Mikey Neal fixing to put it into victory lane for, I believe, like the 3rd, 4th, maybe even 5th time in this season, or in this series anyway, as he is just a few, about half a lap, probably less than that, as there is turn 4. He's coming to the line, and there it will be. Mikey Neal officially will be your race winner here tonight.
Certainly a solid run there for the 8 car. Congratulations to that team there and Mikey Neal on winning tonight's race here at Texas Motor Speedway. A long 130 lap race. I'm sure, Charles, you got that exact number of laps he's led, but I'd say he's led just about all of them but a few.
Yeah, he has led 119 laps, so all but, I believe, 21, no, all but 11 laps he led here tonight. So a terrific run for him to lead so many laps. You couldn't ask for a better run than he did here tonight. Definitely worthy of putting it in victory lane as they're going to go to do their little photo there. While they're doing that, you want to run through our top 10 here in the race results, and then I will bring us home and we'll get over to the post-race show.
Sure, Charles. Once again, the 8 car, Mikey Neal, taking the win here at Texas Motor Speedway. You got the 40 car of Sal Casey finishing second, the 2 car of Jamir Mohammed. You got finishing third, the 48 of Dustin Covington finishing fourth. 83, Alex Huffman taking home the 5th position. The number 5 of Brandon Dorsett finishing 6th. The 33 of Josh Coley finishing 7th. 99 of Justin Starr finishing 8th. 91 of Jim Locking taking home 9th. And rounding out your top 10 is the 84 of Bryson Barker.
In 11th place is going to be John Van Varellis. 12th place, Brian Bizzle. 13th, Bruce Clay, the first one a lap down. 14th will be Raymond Yeager. 15th will be Bill Edwards. 16th will be David Gainford. 17th, Brett Meservy. 18th, Brandon Young. 19th, Sterling Smith, and 20th will go to Dan Butler. 21st will go to Francois Peltier. 22nd, Tony Rice. 23rd, Butch Frazier. And rounding out the field here tonight in 24th will be Trevor Graffam. That will do it here for your unofficial race results. We'll go ahead and put your results up on the ticker for you here, and we will go over and talk to our top 3 here in the post-race show. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here with your post-race show. Coming in third place here tonight is the 2 of Jamir Muhammad. He led 3 laps, and we have caught up with him, or at least Chris has. So we are going to hand the mic over to Chris, and Chris, we'll let you take from here.
Gotcha. I got your third place finisher here at Texas Motor Speedway, the driver of the number 2. Mohammed there. How's it going there? How was your race tonight?
It was good. It was a tough race.
Well, I could certainly agree. It didn't seem like anybody had anything for that 8 car. It looks like you were pacing him for a little while, maybe a second and a half or two. Just didn't have the grip and the tires, maybe.
Yeah, no. I think Mikey just kind of had this the field covered today. I think he might have just kept me in reach there, just so I could keep trying until I put it in the wall a couple of times. But yeah, it was a tough race for some reason. The car was extremely tight. I didn't qualify very well, and that put me in the back. Well, not in the back, but 6th. And starting 6th with Mikey in the pole, it was going to be tough sledding. It was a fun race though. I made some contacts out there with some cars. It was just it was a eventful third, but I'll take it.
Yeah, top three, no doubt. It's not easy to get up there on the podium, especially getting wins. I'd like to go back to that pit stop, that final pit stop there.
Oh yeah.
It looks like you might have come down and tried to set the pace there, and maybe short pit or something. Maybe get yourself a little bit more track time and get out in front of that 8. But we saw you contact the wall. You think that might have been the difference in finishing third versus winning this race?
It would have been tough. Yeah, I just completely screwed up my entry into pit road, or into my pit stall, and hit the inside wall, which is pretty hard to do. But yeah, it cost me, a few seconds, probably 3 seconds, on pit road there. Probably would have came out in front of Mikey going into the last run, but it would have been kind of tough to hold him off. It probably cost me second place tonight, but it was a good race. Sal, he had a good strategy there at the end. I think he ran long when everyone else kind of pitted, so he had fresher tires at the end, and he was coming. I think he would have caught Mikey there. I let him go with about, I think it was like 9 laps to go. He was only 2 seconds from Mikey. He might have caught him, but then he hit the wall there coming off before, and then we were stuck racing for second again, which slowed both of us down.
Well, nonetheless, you take home third tonight. Congratulations on that. You got any acknowledgments, sponsors you want to shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Global Building Contractors. Glad to put them back up on the podium again. Dan Butler Designs, iRacing Drivers World. Shout out to my wife, Sarah, Theo, my dad, my mom, Riyadh. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. Looks like we got Charles now with second place.
I do indeed have a second place with us, and we'll get it pulled up. That is the 40 of Sal. Casey led 3 laps. So to ask you the question we just talked about, give me, had you not got the wall on that about 10 to go-ish, 9, 10 laps to go, you think you could have run down Mikey? You definitely had a fast car here tonight.
Yeah, it would have been tough. Mikey was great all race long. He was solid on the long runs. He was always gapping me wherever I was. And that's the thing. I was running a lot better than I thought. I'm not good at Texas. I can't really handle this track too well with the tire wear and whatnot. But I was doing all right, and then I wasn't sure what the heck was going on. Then I started catching Jameer, and I said, man, what's really going on? And then I put myself in the wall, and I said, that's a little more like it, that's a little more on par. So I guess I was feeling confident there at the end. I might have had a chance to catch Mikey, but he was really solid. So kind of ended up where I should have been, I guess. A little bit better than I should have been, really.
Well, one thing about the wall here at Texas Motor Speedway, it can definitely be a confidence killer, as it can get you good when you least expect it. And it likes to do it, especially there in the tri-oval. It's in turn 1, 2, it gets you as well. But again, just a great run here. As we'll pull that information up really quick and take a look at it. As we'll get on the right driver. That'll help. You started third. You did get as high as first. Obviously, led 3 laps. And of course, you got as low as 18th place. Probably that was during pit stops there when that happened. So not real accurate, but to talk about that here for just a minute before we let you do your shout outs and sponsors. Coming into tonight, were you planning on short runs, or did you have any idea that we would have 1 caution for 4 laps, and that we would have a 64 lap green flag run here to this race?
Yeah, once we had got to about lap 50, I said, okay, this is definitely going to be a long run race. So usually from week to week, I'm running short. Come the end of the race, I find myself clutching a lot. So this week I kind of figured I'd run a little bit longer than everybody, save my tires a little bit, and it came through in the end for me a little bit there. I think I did have a little bit better tires. I said to Jameer, he did let me go there, and I said, man, it's the thought that counts. At least you tried to let me go there, give me a break. But no, I appreciate everybody running me clean here tonight, and it's always fun racing with these guys. I got to thank, Global Building Contractors, Racecore, iRacing Drivers World, and certainly everybody over there at Virtual Racing Network. You guys do a heck of a job. Thanks, guys.
Oh, definitely a big shout out to you for finishing in second place. So congrats on that. And it does look like Chris has caught up with our race winner here tonight, the 8 of Mikey Neal, who led 119 laps.
Yeah, I got Mikey here, driver of the number 8 Chevy Camaro, your winner tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Mikey, I guess you set sail there, so you must have had a dominant car. I heard early on that you might have said something along the lines of not thinking you had the car to get the finish you just got tonight. What do you got to say about that?
Yeah, every time I come here, I mean, I seem to usually get the pole. I don't really know how, but it's kind of just been like that the last couple of races, but I've never won. So I got the pole, and I was pretty amped about it, and I felt good about the car because I was super good in 1 and 2. I was okay in 3 and 4, but mediocre, just to say it best. And when I was getting into the corners, I actually started feeling really, really good further and further into the run, and that's where I was just kind of putting time between the car behind me, and that's just kind of how I got my lead. I like that long run because that's where I had my speed at, was on the long run. I had really good short run speed as well, but I think my long run speed definitely carried me through this race tonight.
Well, I'd have to say that played in your favor since there was only one caution, and you definitely got those long runs to help you out. I'd like to ask if you thought of anything that you feared in this race. Did you think anybody might have something for you at any point?
The one point that I was kind of noticing some stuff was around when Jameer pitted about 3 laps behind me, and I saw my relative, he was around 7 seconds back, and then I kind of lost him for a little bit, and then I look and he's around 2. So that was just at the very end of that run where the caution came out. So I knew that 3-lap tires definitely meant a lot, but I was about to pit anyway, so he was going to be around the same spot. He actually gained a little bit, so he had a great strategy there. But it was kind of tough to get off of turn 4. I feel like that was just kind of my main focus throughout the runs, to be honest, just because I had 1 and 2 down, 3 and 4. I get in 3 really well, and I just come off of 4 really, really tight. So I was just trying my best to get off the wall there and not hit the apron as well.
Yeah, we've seen several cars get into the wall there, collecting some damage. Jameer there looked like he pitted ahead of you on that final pit stop. It looks like he overshot his pit box, and that possibly hurt him there. But you there in the 8 car kind of set sail, kind of like a easy Sunday drive, it seemed like, leading about 119, I think, 120 laps of the 130 distance. Solid run, dominating run. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Definitely had a really good car, and carrying the momentum through the corners was just kind of the key tonight. Being nice and smooth, and I feel like that's what won me the race. I was just consistent, and I didn't hit the wall as well, and that was the big thing. Is it's really easy to get in the wall at this track. I mean, it's super, super easy. It may not look like it, but it is. So I did a great job keeping it off the wall tonight.
Yeah, I have to say, when I run here myself, I have problems with that right front getting ate up. Texas seems to eat tires. But you did it. You got the win. Congratulations again. And got to ask you if you got any acknowledgments and sponsorships you want to shout out tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Got to thank KM and PRG, my teammates. Got to thank them so much. Got to thank VRN. Thank you guys for broadcasting the race. Got to thank iRacing Drivers World, Dan Butler Designs, and the main sponsor of this league, Global Building Contractors. Got to thank my mom and dad. I know my dad's watching. My mom was watching me the last couple of laps, so got to thank them for watching. I got to thank Dan and Justin. They do a great job hosting the league. Got a new late model series coming up. Cannot wait. And also got to thank the viewers. Thank you guys for all watching. We love having you guys tune in. I got to give congrats to the top 3 there, Jameer and Sal. They both did a great job tonight. So.
Awesome. Congratulations again. That was your winner, the driver of the number 8 Chevy Camaro, Mikey Neal. Charles, back to you.
All right, that will just about do it here for tonight's race. And, of course, we are off the next 3 days. Work will continue as we are going to have Spectrum come out and see if they can't fix up the issues here tonight. So while we may be off, we are definitely not going to be taking too many days off here. I will take a day, of course, off or VRN will for Thanksgiving, but we will be right back at it doing some more work, and we got some stuff in the works coming up as well. So stay tuned for all that. We want to, of course, thank all the sponsors here for tonight's race. On the racing side of things, Global Building Contractors, iRacing Drivers World, Leo's Coney Island out of Rochester Hills, and of course Dan Butler Designs. And on the broadcast here, we wouldn't be here for 2018 if it wasn't for the following partners. Those include Northwest Racing Series, Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm, Ohio IndyCar League, SimSpeedShop.com, and of course iBog. Make sure you check out all these great partners on their social media websites and platforms, and give them a big shout out for what they do. As always, this was Racecore Online Racing League on Virtual Racing Network. We will see you at the next broadcast, which will be Saturday, so stay tuned for that, and we will see you there.